Welcome to the Breakthrough Moments podcast, a podcast where challenges meet opportunities. I'm Harold, and together with my co-host Lasse, we explore stories of innovators, leaders, professionals, and entrepreneurs, and how they turn obstacles into game-changing breakthroughs. Get ready for insights that inspire and lessons that last. Subscribe now, and let's dive into the moments that define success. Welcome to today's episode of the Breakthrough Moments podcast. Today's guest is Ingo Kamps, the founder and leader of Munich Online Rebels, a firm specializing in performance marketing with a strong focus on affiliate marketing. Ingo's journey began nearly 2 decades ago in Berlin, and his insights can offer a profound inspiration for both aspiring and seasoned entrepreneurs. From pioneering affiliate marketing in Germany to grappling with evolving industry challenges, Ingo's career is a testament to adaptability, but also innovation. So welcome to the podcast, Ingo.
Thanks for having me, Harold. It's a pleasure.
So we had a chat where we talked about all of the, let's say, the evolving landscape of affiliate marketing and your experience with it. But for people that don't know you or Munich Online Rebels, could you give us a brief introduction, please?
Yes, of course. So, as you already said, my name is Ingo Kamps. I'm the founder and one of two CEOs of Munich Online Rebels. We are a performance marketing agency from Germany, and we are also a performance marketing publisher. So as an agency, we provide our customers with performance marketing solutions in different channels like search engine advertising, paid social, and of course, affiliate marketing. And as a publisher, we collaborate with Europe's biggest publishing house, Axel Springer, and we do all the performance marketing or affiliate marketing efforts on sites like Bild.de, which is Europe's biggest newspaper, still to this day, even though newspapers are not that big anymore because of the digitalization. But this is what we do. We run independently for 20 years now, almost 20 years, in December to be precise. And that doesn't mean we don't get offers from bigger agency networks or other companies who are interested in buying us. But at the moment, we are really happy with our status.
Yeah, and that's good. It's interesting because you've been into this game for so long, especially in terms of affiliate marketing, starting with that all the way back in 2001. So very early out. And I remember you mentioned something like starting with companies like AffiliateNet and Xanax, and others you know the industry of affiliate marketing in and out. Could you describe what did the early days of affiliate marketing look like now, close to then 23 years ago?
23 years ago. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm old. I'm already 48 years old. You look much younger, but you are also younger. But that's the way it is. Back in the days, I was young as well. So yeah, it was somehow coincidence for me to come to the affiliates marketing. Like everyone, there were no way to study or someone told you just go to the affiliate marketing. You somehow had to find it by yourself. I was studying economics and had to do an internship in 1999, and I chose Nintendo of Europe because I was always interested in the video gaming industry. And for them, it was also a new kind. They had to do something in the online marketing world, but nobody wanted to do something. They were even afraid to do much online marketing because of the traders. So the traders might be disappointed if Nintendo will start to sell online, for example. And so nobody wanted to do online marketing. And I said, okay, why not? I give it a try. And then I was immediately hooked, I must say. So when I saw what online marketing or everything had to offer. So, and that was the point, I think, when I decided I won't seek my fortune in the video gaming environment. I went back to finish my studies and at that time started around, I've heard of affiliate networks like Xanox or Affiliate, as you mentioned. I just did some tryouts. I created a shopping website, put on some affiliate links, created some ads and left the house. And when I came back, suddenly, wow, there are transactions, there are sales.
Yeah.
I didn't, there were a lot of knowledge was missing at the time. So I didn't know that there could be cancellation of sales or things like that. So I increased my advertising spending, and it could have gone really wrong, because if every sale would have been canceled, I would be in the red very soon. But fortunately, that didn't happen. So the first strategy I learned, and which helps me to this day, is how to create landing pages with high conversion rates and to organize traffic that is highly transactional. So these strategies help me to this day. And one last word about the affiliate marketing in general in 2001. It was purely Wild West. We were a few hundred people, I would say, who were absolutely motivated to create something new, but there were no rules. Nobody knew everything. It was just exciting to be a part of something fresh, something new.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you cannot create the magic of the beginning again nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because like one started, or I dipped my toes into, let's say, the scope of internet marketing, which basically encapsulates affiliate marketing in 2011. And I remember just how wildly different things were then
Yes.
to today. And I can't even fathom how it was all the way back into 2001, because there were some rules, there were some regulation already in 2011, but like 10 years prior to that, it must have been quite a ride. What do you think were what were kind of like the first couple of successes that you had in affiliate marketing? You mentioned a case that you put up this website, you add affiliate links, and you put money at it. Were there any kind of like key moments where you were like, okay, now I've hit it. I've hit a trend. I've hit a nerve. This campaign works. I'm gonna go all into affiliate marketing.
It took some time, I have to say. So when I finished my studies, I moved to Berlin, as a German capital, and worked for an internet startup, venture funded, a web radio. They had 24 hours of program, but as you can imagine, in 2001, not everyone had a cable line or DSL or as a broadband internet connection, so nobody wanted to listen to radio over the internet at that time. So unfortunately, 8 months after I started, the company went down when the funds were lost, and they didn't get any new money. And so I was looking for another job, actually. And we were in the dot-com crisis. The dot-com crisis was in full force at that time. And so it was hard to really get a new job. So a few months earlier, so everyone would throw any job at you, and suddenly nobody wants to hire you. I always had a side hustle. So I maintained websites for modestly prominent people in Germany. So because my uncle is a singer and he knew a lot of people, so I had something to live on for the next couple of months. And then I created these shopping sites and went into affiliate marketing. And even then, even when I earned enough with affiliate marketing, I wasn't sure whether it will sustain, it will keep up. So it took me a few more months to actually realize I have to take on the challenge, drop my website maintaining business, and go all in for into affiliate marketing. Of course, the advantages of founding a company very young is that you don't think too much about risks coming up. You don't have to feed kids. You don't have to. So the worst thing what could happen is you have to move back to your parents. And so I was quite optimistic about sustain it. That the company will still be here 20 years later, I wasn't so sure about it.
Yeah, it's interesting, like how what the origin story is like, because some people, they accidentally stumble into it. Someone has kind of like already or always had the vision, like known from a very young age. Like personally myself, I knew basically when I was around 12, 13, 14 that I knew that I would start my own thing. But there's always also someone that does or goes the path that you kind of went on, where you got into entrepreneurship due to necessity, because it sounds like that was the case. Like you've been fidgeting a bit and testing a bit, but the dot-com bubble, you basically, the company you worked with went bankrupt. No one would want to hire because it was on the height of the dot-com bubble. No one wanted to hire, and all of the companies went bankrupt. And kind of like you had to invest and focus on it. And I find that to be interesting because like and this is also why I enjoy having people like yourself on, because you've been doing this for such a long time that you've been through the cycles. And I like the fact that you had to turn into the entrepreneur that you've become today. So basically due to necessity. In terms of kind of like, was there anything else that kind of like confirmed to you that, okay, I have to build this thing and focus on this, other than, okay, I can get a job elsewhere? It seemed to be working. Were there other motivators in terms of like sticking to it? Because like you had the early years, you made some money, you made the financial dollar around. Beyond that, were there any other motivations or things that brought you to keep going at it?
Um, Actually, that was really the main reason at that time. I wasn't not really, I have to say, I wasn't born to be an entrepreneur. So my parents were self-employed, but they always said, so finish your studies, learn how to do things, and you'll get a great job. It wasn't a clear path in the end. No, I grew into it, I have to say. So I really, it was a necessity somehow to do that, because of course if I would have looked harder, I would have gotten a job, I think so, but in the end I was happy to have a solution at this time. No, I really grew into it, and then in the years 2002, 3, I became that successful enough that I never thought about getting another job.
Yeah, it's always interesting to kind of like, okay, what is it that drives us? Because I would say, and it's become also something that I've talked about with a lot of people that are on this podcast and are going to come on the podcast in future episodes, is kind of like the fact that if you have the entrepreneurial gene, you have it. Like you're going to be bound to do something of your own, no matter what. And it sounds like even though we have other options, ultimately at the end of the day, like just sticking to it, like the joy of creating and seeing the fruits of the labor in terms of what you build. And I found that to be interesting. One thing that we touched a bit on is the difference between affiliate marketing when you started, when I started, and how it is today. What would you say is one of the biggest challenges people see or experience getting into affiliate marketing today in comparison to when you started back 23 years ago?
Yes, of course, there are a lot of regulatory and technical limitations nowadays in place that we didn't have at that time. I have to say, what I learned from an early stage is that in affiliate marketing, business models they are not there for a really long period of time. You always have to evolve. There are so many outside factors, like Google traffic, for example. Google traffic is nowadays affiliate models don't rely so much on Google traffic because Google does not provide any more traffic. They don't want to deliver cheap or free traffic to websites anymore. They want to keep it for themselves. So that was quite different. Things like you set up a website, wait for a few days, and the visitors are coming in. That's not happening anymore. The last time I made this was 2012, an Android website about the mobile operating system Android, which really lifted off very quickly. And then the things I tried after that in 2016 to 17, and nothing worked anymore. So this is, of course, a big difference between then and now. And so you always have to evolve. Even if you have something that works, you have already to think about the next thing. So because your traffic could dry out overnight. And this happened to me. Google didn't want to sell me any ads anymore and things like that. So that is what you learn. So it is quite much harder to become a classic affiliate, I would say, nowadays. So with a website or an app or something like that. There are other forms of affiliate marketing, if you want, like influencer marketing. on TikTok, Instagram, and things like that. These are much easier today. I wouldn't say it become harder. It's just different nowadays.
Yeah.
And of course, as I mentioned, the regulatory and technical limitations are much harder. We got GDPR in 2018,
Yeah.
e-privacy, browser restrictions. I don't know whether our listeners are quite familiar with how affiliate marketing tracking works. So the difference between a third-party cookie and a first-party cookie. Let me leave it at that. It was much easier to do proper tracking before 2018, and
Yeah.
nowadays some affiliate sales aren't tracked at all, and so tracking evolved, tracking got better. We have server to server tracking, new forms of tracking, but these are the big differences between the beginning of the century and
Yeah.
in 220, I would say.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like if someone were to, let's say, okay, I want to get into affiliate marketing. What would you say, or what would you recommend someone to start look into if they're considering affiliate marketing as, let's say, either a career path or I want to build a business within that space? Like, is there a go-to, this is a type of model, or this is where you should go, this is where you should start, anything like that?
Yeah, I wouldn't just start as a publisher directly. And as I said, it became too hard. So as a one-man show, as I started, nowadays just set up a website and see what will happen. Also, affiliate websites, it became all much more technical. So I think you need preparations for half a year nowadays. I'm sorry. Nowadays, and so it's really hard just to say I want to be an affiliate and start right away. It's easier to become an influencer. You also need the reach, of course. If you set up an Instagram channel and you don't have any followers, but it might be easier than to become a real affiliate with a website.
Yeah.
I would say perhaps start as a job at an affiliate network, affiliate agency, or an advertiser, and learn the basic things there. How does tracking work? How can I get traffic to a website that is transactional and things like that? So I think this is easier than to just jump into the cold water and become an affiliate.
Yeah. So you would say that the unique opportunity now is that you can build these channels, like become a quote unquote influencer, or have influencer accounts that will get the reach and then be able to start generating affiliate revenue. Would that be aside from tracking and the technicalities, would that be the unique opportunity and entry into affiliate marketing today that would be comparable to setting up a website and just having Google rank it and get traffic as when you started?
Yes, I would say so. I'm too old for TikTok, I have to say. But once a year, I give myself an affiliate marketing speech at a university here in Bavaria. And there are young students, of course. And I talk about affiliate marketing, not so much about influencer marketing. But for the last
Yeah.
couple of years, I have seen that the students, they are not interested in building any websites or things like that, but they are interested in becoming an influencer. And
Yeah.
as I can see from the sidelines, it is possible on TikTok to build up a certain reach quite easy if you have the right topic find the right topic for yourself, and then you are also able to monetize it. I
Yeah.
would somehow say influencer marketing is the modern affiliate marketing.
Yeah. That's interesting. To move on to a bit of a different topic, um, we have mentioned that a lot of things have changed in affiliate market spaces and industry in general the past 20 years, as you've operated in for more than 20 years. What would you say has been the thing that has helped you and Munich Online Rebels to stay ahead, given all these changes? Like you mentioned, trying to set up a website to get the Google traffic in 2016, 2017, it didn't work. Like, what's made it so that you guys have been able to stay afloat and continue for, let's say, the past 23 years? Like, has there been any one thing, or has it been a way of doing things that has allowed you to stay in the game?
I wouldn't say there's the one thing. I mentioned a few things already. You have to learn that business models have their time. So it is not if you have found something, you are done for your life and just cash in. I have to say, as affiliate marketing, nobody talks about it. Not many people like to talk about it. But of course, you can work very shady as well with tracking things. All these things can you be manipulated. I always said to myself, I won't use these tactics, and left a lot of money on the table. But I can always look into the mirror. So what is really important? No, what really helped us, I have to say, is to see how landing pages, social network accounts, it doesn't matter, it works for us, how you make them visible for the user with a high conversion opportunity, and to find traffic that is highly transactional. So this is the secret sauce. It's not really a secret sauce, but if you understand how to do that, you will always be able to make money in online marketing or performance marketing.
Yeah. So basically, how can you create a website or a landing page that converts? So has the opt-in, has the purchase, has the subscribe, the suites, whatever it
Absolutely.
is, but also getting the right people to that page in terms of depending on the channel and how you run the ads and get the traffic.
Absolutely. That even works for I know Facebook, I know Instagram. As I said, in TikTok is not for me, but we have the young people who understand this channel, and nevertheless I can help them to create also performance strong campaigns on that. So my knowledge still translates to these modern channels anyway, even though I'm not the biggest user there by myself.
Yeah, that's interesting. You mentioned that a lot of changes has happened. Like you have the e-privacy, you have the GDPR. Like, is the because you and this is maybe going a bit into the technicalities and the technical things of things. You mentioned that tracking has changed due to GDPR. How do you like? What was the change? Like, what was it that changed aside from just cookies on, let's say, Facebook tracking? Didn't really work. Like, how did GDPR actually have an impact? If we were to go into the specifics.
Yes. So the biggest impact, of course, is that we weren't able to use third-party cookies to track anymore. So as you have an affiliate networks, for example, like Xanox or Affiliate we mentioned, they both had a fusion a couple years ago. They are now called Awin. So Awin is the biggest industry leader. So I would just take them as an example. So Awin, when Awin wanted to track, an affiliate network is there for tracking, they set a cookie with the domain name www.awin.com on an advertiser website or another website, for example. And it was no problem because third-party cookies were allowed. So then first Safari, also Apple browser, started to cut third-party cookies. It was an Apple decision in this case, not a regulatory thing. They said, we don't want to have third-party cookies. Third-party cookies are also used for retargeting, for example. And this was probably also the thing why the European Union thought they have to act. Because retargeting made it very visible for users how internet marketing companies are able to track them, to follow them. They have looked up for the red shoes at a shoe shop. I didn't buy and went to another website and immediately saw ads for these red shoes. They just looked up. So therefore also third-party cookies are used. So Apple Safari dropped them, and then Mozilla Firefox dropped them, because Mozilla was using a lot of market share against Google Chrome, and they wanted something to attract new users to their browser. And so it became already harder. So the market share of Chrome is, at least in Germany, but in a lot of countries as well, I think, is quite high. So it still worked, everything fine. But you always had some losses. You didn't make 100% revenue. Now you were making 90% revenue.
Hmm.
Still worked, but 10% were gone. So, and as I said, the European Union then said this retargeting stuff and so on. So we have to keep our users. That have to keep the privacy. So let's get rid of these third-party cookies at all, or we have to at least the advertiser or the website owner or something needs a consent from this user. He says, I will
Hmm.
accept these third-party cookies. That's why you are seeing these nice consent layers when you come to a website nowadays. If you want to be tracked or not. And of course, a lot of users said, no, I don't want to be tracked. And so it got even harder to do like things like that. That was one thing. And as Firefox and Safari said, we don't want third-party cookies at all. The affiliate networks changed their approach to a first-party cookie. So the cookie wasn't called AWIN anymore, www.awin, and it was called, for example, if you have Vodafone as an advertiser, the cookie was also called Vodafone. So it
Hmm.
worked with the browsers again, but you still had the regulations from the European Union and that the user has to give consent to be tracked properly. So this is then there are other forms of tracking nowadays. It's server to server tracking that works without cookies and so on. So the affiliate industry, of course, also evolved, but they were never able to regain this 100% they had in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah. That's interesting. So basically, what category of cookies would, let's say, Facebook Pixel, Snapchat Pixel, Google Pixel, all of these Pixel for advertising platforms, would they be categorized as a first-party cookie or a third-party cookie?
Um, not they're mostly third-party cookies in this case, but
Yeah.
the thing is, with this also was a problem. The European Union wasn't targeting these with their regulation, wasn't targeting the small business owner in Europe. They
Yeah.
wanted to target Google, Facebook. But what Google and Facebook are able to do is get the consent quite easily from the user. They just say, "Do you want to use our services?" Yes, of
Yeah.
course, I want to use your service. Okay, give us a consent and so on. So it's not. It was never a problem for Facebook or Google. I'm sorry. It was never a problem for Google or Facebook to get the consent from the user. So they
Yeah.
have almost 100% consent quote.
Yeah. And that's interesting. One of the things that you do, and this is of interest to follow up on this one in terms of regulatory changes, because one of the things that you do is that you're vice chair in Internet Association, where you have the insight into, let's say, upcoming regulatory challenges, changes, and all these things. What do you see as one of the most pressing challenges in terms of regulatory changes that are going to happen into the future? What are you guys planning to do, but also what can other people do to, let's say, be prepared for when they're going to come? One of the things that you mentioned last time is, for example, UTM parameters. But
Yes.
are there any that come to mind in terms of like these changes are going to alter the game yet again as GDPR did?
Yes, it's called link decoration, and I'm not sure whether our listeners are familiar with how an affiliate link is actually built, but they probably know about UTM parameters. You also use to use your Google Analytics and to see which of your campaigns are successful and why and things like that. And some browsers want to, like Safari, for example, they think about cutting all these link decoration elements. What is, so if you have www.vodafone.com, for example, and then all the tracking parameters after that could be cut completely,
Hmm.
so that you are not able to find any information in your Google Analytics anymore, and you can't track affiliate links anymore because you need these parameters to see which affiliate gets a commission, how much commission is there, and things like that. So this is a big obstacle, obviously, for the future, and we don't have a solution for it at the moment.
Mm.
I was at a conference in the United States, and they didn't care about tracking, and they said everything works in GDPR. We don't care about that. But when they heard about the link decorations, they really thought, "Oh wow, this might be a problem."
Yeah.
So, as I said, there is not a solution at the moment which is clear on the horizon. But in the end, I try to be optimistic and say there's always a way
Yeah.
forward.
Like, yeah. When there's a will, there is often a way.
Yes.
I think one of the things that I found to be interesting is kind of like that huge difference between the US and Europe. Like, what's your take on basically like that huge difference? Like, if you want to get in affiliate marketing, is it even worth thinking about Europe? Or should you kind of like just establish in the US and just do it in the US, where it's kind of like it's a bit more of the Wild West current still, aside from the link decoration regulation that might come. Like, what's your take on like operating as an affiliate in Europe in contrast to the US?
Yes. So I'm usually a business development guy, and I don't like to talk so much about browser regulations and so on. I just want to think about how can we make business more and more money, of course.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, that got a little bit lost in the European Union in the last couple of years. We weren't talking about how can we make more money or more revenue, but how can we sustain the revenue we have.
Mm.
So it was really refreshing to come to a US conference and see that the old affiliate marketing I know is still alive and kicking there,
Yeah.
because they don't care about these regulations, and they only think about do you need traffic? Do you have traffic? Do you want to advertise this merchant and so on? So it was really refreshing. Somehow a
Yeah.
little bit naive, I have to say, because some regulations will hit them as well. But for me, I said I have to sustain this attitude a little bit. For me, I want to go back and see more opportunities and not only the risks. In the end, I would say, and this is why we don't have real new companies also in Europe. So real internet giants, Spotify, or there are only a few exceptions. Of course, they have more free entrepreneurship, and therefore it might be easier to start a business over there, I have to say.
Mm. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't want to condemn these regulations because the user privacy has to be kept, and I know what is possible for with data to collect data from people. And as I see from the US NBA team, they collect every data after you enter the stadium. They know which entrance you got, if you get a pizza, and so on. They know everything about you. They collect it. They never delete things like that. So this is also not the way to go, I have to say.
Mm.
But we have to find a way in Europe to make it possible to really innovate and don't have too many regulations, so we are not able to innovate. I'm also
Yeah.
fearing about artificial intelligence, that we are doing the same thing again. So now
Mm.
Apple has released the iPhone 16 without the AI functionality in Europe. I don't know whether it is because of regulations and things like that. But we have to be careful that we don't get cut off from all the new innovations and developments.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't know that they basically did not roll out those functionalities in the EU. But
Until
given all
now,
of that, yeah, given the fact that you want to get more and look more into, and you like looking more into kind of like where the opportunities lie, where do you see opportunity looking into, let's say, the next 5 years, next 10 years?
I think artificial intelligence offers a lot of opportunity to become more productive, to really be able to concentrate on finding new ideas
Mm.
and cut off boring and repetent work. So I think there's a lot of opportunity. I think it's somehow also it won't live up to the hype in many
Mm.
factors, but with all new technology, it's mostly In the beginning, it's underestimated, then it's overestimated, and then it becomes real at one point.
Yeah.
But I think in artificial intelligence is a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Have really educated people in Germany and in Europe as a whole. So there are a lot of still opportunities on the way. In affiliate marketing, I have to say there are opportunities, but for us here, it would I wouldn't recommend to start in affiliate marketing at the moment, I have to say, because it is unclear how the future will look like. I would love to know or have a regulatory and technical status that I know we can work with. Then we can go back to create new business, new opportunities, and then I might recommend going into affiliate marketing again.
Yeah, because one of the ideas I had, I'm just going to voice it because it might be that you have an initial idea of whether this might solve, let's say, link decoration. Because one of the things with link decoration is that you add the UTM parameters behind it or any other URL parameter that you want to add. Yes. For the people listening, it's basically behind.com or the website link. You basically have a question mark or a and sign and all of the different parameters. So source equals and then Facebook, for example, etc. Could a way of solving the potential tracking issue that link decoration regulation might remove be solved by having a internal, let's say, subdomain linking, so that you as an affiliate get a unique subdomain and then they track it on the back end just based on that subdomain, and every, let's say, source you want to track has an internal new subdomain URL that is then added for, okay, this is a subdomain for Facebook source for this campaign particularly. And this is a new subdomain on my affiliate account for, let's say, an email campaign. And this is another subdomain created for Google. Would that potentially be a solution to get around that UTM parameter or URL parameter removal?
It might be. I'm not a tracking expert, I have to say, yeah. But it's possible. There are also some other ways, like using voucher codes and giving out voucher codes and see whether they are redeemed. I'm not sure whether it's an interesting idea, but I have to say I'm not sure at this point whether it can work.
Yeah. I just had to ask because I was like, okay, so if your own parameters goes out the window, yeah, but you have the subdomains. And I think this has been really good. I think the listeners, if someone didn't know about affiliate marketing in the past, I think this was a very good introduction. And also it's interesting how you say that given the uncertainties, especially in the EU, in terms of regulation and tracking, it's uncertain if you would recommend going into affiliate marketing and you would actually not recommend it. I found that to be interesting. And also it reflects in how you have diversified the business model, not just being a affiliate only, but doing more of the performance marketing for other companies as well. And I think that's a very clever move, especially given what you told may come in the future. But I end every podcast with the same question to every guest. And I gave you a bit of a heads up. The question I have to you, Ingo, to wrap up this episode is if you could get an answer to one question related to what you do and your business, what would that question be and what would you like to know?
I could say I want to know the lottery numbers of next Saturday, but let me go with that. It's as I already said it somehow. I would love to know the answer to the question how the playing field for performance marketing will look in the end. So when all technical and regulatory suggestions have been implemented and there won't be any new changes on the horizon. So then I know these are the rules, this is a playing field, and then I can go back to what I do like best, and this is create and optimize businesses. And this is what I'd like to know if I had one wish.
Yeah, how's the regulatory landscape going to look like, and what regulations, what limits, what potential, or what box do you need to operate within to be within the bounds of law? And that will give you the, let's say, the mind space to really then focus solely on creating value and looking at opportunities and expanding, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that.
The other thing, only create bureaucracy and bureaucracy.
Yeah.
not good.
No, I can agree more. But so far it's been a pleasure, Ingo. If someone wants to reach out, learn more about what you guys do, what's the best place to find you and read more and get in touch?
Yes, you can always visit our website. It's www.more.team, but it's only in German. So I think we have to create an English version soon. Otherwise, it's easiest to find me on LinkedIn under my name, Ingo Kamps. I also have accounts on Facebook and X as well, but I barely use them anymore. So if you want some pictures, you can also find me on Instagram. But I would be happy to connect with some of our listeners too on LinkedIn, get fruitful discussions from it. And thank you, Harald, for this great opportunity.
My pleasure. So what we're going to do is that we're going to try to make sure that the link to LinkedIn, at least, is down in the show notes and description so that people can find you and reach out. But thank you so much for being part of the podcast, Ingo. It's been a pleasure, and I hope you guys listening and viewing this episode found it useful and gave you a couple of insights and that you learned from sticking around. So then again, thank you, Ingo.